What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here. In today's mission, I've got a Final Fantasy VII Remake theory. Sephiroth is an iconic villain, and his manipulation and evil ways are not a mystery to anyone, but now that we have voice acting, some of our favorite moments can now be fleshed out and more in depth. That being said, there's a theory that I've been talking about with my Discord community that still remains unanswered. Whose voice was Sephiroth using to mock Cloud? There are a few answers that we've discussed, and some are really viable, so today I'll be discussing the top 2 answers and why they may or may not make sense. To begin, here is the dialogue in the remake trailer from E3 that brought about this theory.
You're not real. You're... Cloud. I have a favor to ask of you. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
As you can hear, Sephiroth's voice changes to a lighter tone at the end of him telling Cloud to leave. The Master Manipulator is at work again, mocking Cloud with what appears to be a familiar voice. Immediately after hearing the voice, the following occurs.
You bastard! Yeah!
Cloud is clearly upset, not only because he's hallucinating about the villain, but because the villain is mocking him. So who was this voice? For the first theory, many have said Zack Fair is the voice that Sephiroth is using. This was my original thought as well, and at the time it made the most sense. Zack's memories are ingrained in Cloud's mind, twisting his persona to be a mixture of himself and Zack. In the Crisis Core version of Zack's death, there's a bit of dialogue between the two, and Zack calls Cloud his living legacy. While Crisis Core is no longer part of the remake's canon, Tetsuya Nomura and Yoshinori Kitase have both stated that some elements could be incorporated into the remake. If this is true, the dialogue could have been altered in that scene to play out a little differently. Zack could have told Cloud to run away and to save himself. This would explain the lighter sounding voice that Sephiroth uses at the end of his dialogue. So let's dig into what Cloud remembers. Clearly he remembers his own name, Tifa, and that he's from Nibelheim. Later in the game, when entering Zack's parents' house, he doesn't recognize them as his parents, so we know he doesn't have all of Zack's memories. They also mention Zack by name, and Cloud has no idea who he is, so this automatically debunks this theory. With Cloud clearly recognizing the voice, it would appear that Zack's voice doesn't make sense after all. However, there is someone extremely close to Cloud who he would have memories of and who suffered a terrible fate at the hands of Sephiroth. Cloud's mother, a minor character in the scope of Final Fantasy VII's universe, could be the voice we heard from Sephiroth. The more he spoke, the lighter the voice got. While its tone was not that of what you'd expect his mother to sound like, that doesn't rule out that it was her voice. During the Nibelheim reactor incident, the real one that is, Zack faces Sephiroth and is defeated. After this, Cloud grabs the Buster Sword and runs into Jenova's chambers. As we see in the dialogue here, Cloud mentions the things he holds dear: Tifa, Nibelheim, and his mother. Having said this, if the dialogue remains the same in the remake, Sephiroth would know that Cloud lost his mother and can use that information against him. It's at this point that we can come to the conclusion that the voice is that of Cloud's mother. If Cloud checked on his mother during the attack, which we can assume he did, her dying words could have been, "You have to leave." This could be his mother's way of telling Cloud to get himself to safety and away from Sephiroth. Because Jenova has the ability to influence a person's mind, it would also stand to reason that she can access a person's memories. That includes the memories of family members and what they might look and sound like. We know from Afalna's account of Jenova's powers that she can look and sound like the important people in your life. She used this power to destroy the Cetra from the inside. If Jenova has access to these memories, then so does Sephiroth. This means he could use Cloud's memories of his dying mother to manipulate Cloud and anger him. This leads into the reunion theory, Professor Hojo's explanation why Jenova cell-infected specimens wish to return to her. After the Nibelheim incident, Cloud and Zack are experimented on by Hojo and injected with Sephiroth's cells. This causes them to also be infused with Jenova cells. This means that Jenova, and an extension Sephiroth, has the ability to manipulate and control these cells. This causes the Sephiroth clones to follow Sephiroth to the northern crater once the reunion has been initiated. The term clones are not used in the literal sense. This is the name that Hojo gave them because they were injected with Sephiroth's DNA. Cloud was one of these clones and would fall under Sephiroth's control multiple times throughout the game. This leads me to my next point. At the end of the trailer, Sephiroth tells Cloud,
"Hold on to that hatred."
He knows this will drive Cloud to chase after him, which is his plan the entire time. Not only do Cloud's Jenova cells cause him to want to return to Sephiroth, they also allow him to be partially controlled. However, Cloud's will is strong enough that he does resist when not under full control. We see in the City of the Ancients that Cloud resists killing Aerith himself. We can come to the conclusion that Sephiroth knows Cloud isn't fully under his control and would need things to use against him and drive him to chase after Sephiroth. Overall, this is purely speculation, but a theory that definitely holds some weight. Through Jenova, Sephiroth has a lot of different abilities and orchestrates his plan from the very beginning. Using Cloud's memories is just one of the tools at his disposal, and that means those he cares about the most. Since Tifa travels with him and he clearly recognizes her, and Zack doesn't exist in his mind, the next likely person is Cloud's mother. This would explain the lighter sounding voice and the reason Cloud becomes so angry. With the story expansion being confirmed by the developers, it's entirely possible that Cloud's backstory, and that of his childhood, will be even more fleshed out in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So what do you think, soldiers? Whose voice was Sephiroth using to mock Cloud? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to Omni-slash that like button. Let me know in the comments section below whose voice you think Sephiroth is using. Subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. And for all the latest Final Fantasy VII Remake content, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.